Hi, everyone, and welcome to Friday Night Live. I am your host, Crystal Fry, personal identity coach, transformational communication strategist, and many of you know me as a woman's best friend. Thank you all for joining me tonight, both those of you who are live with me and everyone who is watching in the replay. We are streaming, just checking to make sure that we are on, and we are. We are streaming live on two platforms tonight, both here on Facebook and also over on my YouTube channel. So if you're watching over on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. And if you are here on Facebook, make sure that you like this page and follow and turn the notifications on so that you know when we are live. Tonight is a tough love, real talk night on the show. I am asking the question, what's the cost of allowing others to define you? So go ahead and hit the share button. Go ahead and start a watch party, tag a friend, somebody who might need to see this message as we send it out tonight. This one's going to be an interesting one, I think. So some of you may be asking, like, why would I ask this question? Why would I ask you, what's the cost of allowing others to define you? Well, I believe that what I have to share tonight is going to support you. It's going to help you. And quite frankly, because I would bet that you've probably never asked this question of yourself. I know I hadn't. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to come in and talk about that tonight. You know, what's the cost of allowing someone else, allowing other people to define who you are? So let's go ahead and get into this question. What does it mean? What does it cost for you to be defined by your roles or your circumstances or your situation in life? What does it cost you to be defined by others? And what does that even mean? Let's take that and unpack it just a little bit, because what I mean by the phrase of allowing others to define you, that means you are essentially portraying yourself in a way, or to be a person that other people think you should be. Not who you really are, but who other people think you should be. You're allowing other people to define who you are because you are behaving in a way, you are presenting yourself in a way, you've structured your life in such a way that it fits the mold of what someone else thinks it should look like, not what you think it should look like. And now this can be for a number of reasons. You could be trying to live up to someone else's expectations, parents, older siblings, mentors, anything like that. You could be trying to live up to their expectations. You could be doing it because you think that's what you need to do in order to be liked. Or you could be attempting to emulate someone that you admire. You think of celebrities or influencers, things like that. You see them and you admire them, and so you shift your appearance or your attitude or your thought process to align with theirs because you admire them and you want to emulate them. There are a lot of different reasons and a lot of different ways that we allow others to define us. Most of the time, it comes down to us not knowing ourselves in the first place, or not really liking what we see in the mirror. And I want to expand on that just a little bit to encompass being defined by your roles in life, because your roles or your circumstances, let me say that, your roles or your circumstances. Usually, think about when somebody asks you, when someone says, hey, oh yeah, it's great to meet you, whatever, tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you normally say? Typically, when someone asks us to tell them a little bit about ourselves, we will default to listing off our roles. Tell me a little about yourself. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I work here or there, whatever you do for your job, maybe your participation in a community group, recreational activities. You share facts, you share the things that you do. And yes, these are all things that you do. They're all a part of your life. They're all a part of who you are, and they can help identify you and they can help you relate to other people. But they aren't you. They're part of who you are, but they aren't you. They're your roles. And to drive that point home, and this is where it got really kind of sticky for me, to drive this point home, because I really want you to get this, I want to ask you if you know who you are when all of those things are gone. Now, I'm not saying that anything happens to all of those things, but when you mentally strip those things away, and the only thing left standing there is you, do you actually know who you are as an individual? When everything else is gone, when all your roles, all your responsibilities, when it's all stripped away, do you know who is left standing? Do you know the person who is left standing there? See, that was my issue. Many of you may have heard pieces of this story and different parts of it, but that was one of my big issues. I had defined myself by my roles in life: wife, mom, employee, friend, sister, daughter, problem solver, fixer, church member, group leader, all of these things. I was all of those things. I had attached my identity as a person, as an individual. I had attached that to all of those things, which again, they're part of who I am, but they are not me. And that is what was missing from my life. Me. So that process, the discovery, I should say, led me to understand how I was consumed by being everything to everyone. And in that process, I was actually forgetting about the most important person in my life, me. Now, listen, I'm not talking about it. I'm not talking about this in like a selfish or a self-serving way. I'm talking about this from the standpoint of knowing and understanding your own personal identity. And from my experience, knowing my own personal identity, knowing who was Crystal as an individual, and acknowledging and seeing the person who was put here on this planet with a purpose by our Creator. I was missing that piece. I had all the rest of it: married, kids, job, all of those things, all the things, right? All the things. But I was missing the very central piece of my life, which was me. And not knowing who I was, being defined by those roles, allowing others to define me, even, I want to note this, even if they didn't realize that I had given them that power. I never told anyone, hey, guess what? You're defining my life for me, because I didn't know how to put that into words. I didn't actually know that that's what I was doing. But that all came at a price that I didn't realize that I had been paying all of those years. It cost me years, and I mean years, like decades. I know how old I am. It cost me decades, the vast majority of my adult life. It cost me in not being truly happy and fulfilled, because I was trying to be all of those things. I was using all of those things to make me happy, right? I was using those things to try to validate myself and use that as my source of happiness, instead of getting to know the real me and what actually makes me happy as a person. And listen, I'm going to ask, is any of this resonating with you? Like, can you relate to what I'm talking about here? Can you relate to being defined by your roles, not knowing who you really are, not knowing the real you? Toss up like some thumbs up or hearts or something. Because for me, this is such a critical piece, your personal identity. I mean, that's in what I do. I'm a personal identity coach for this reason, because there are a ton of people walking around who don't actually know who they are, who have not actually taken the time to get to know themselves. And I also want to say here that I was not an unhappy person. I think it's very important for me to say that because it's easy to get the impression that as I sit here and talk about being, unfulfilled and things of that nature, that I was a miserable person. I was not. I was not an unhappy person. I found joy in life. I counted my blessings. I had found professional success, personal success. I, had achieved things that I wanted to achieve. I wasn't miserable. I was unfulfilled because I felt a constant sense of something missing from my life, despite the success that I had achieved personally and professionally, despite outward appearances of everything looking great. Something was missing. And I spent years searching for that missing piece, making questionable and even sometimes bad decisions along the way on this unnamed quest to find something that I could not identify, that I was continuously searching for. I mean, listen, struggling with it. And sometimes as I reflect on that, I am sometimes tempted to see all of that time and all of those mistakes as a waste. Sometimes I'm tempted to do that. But in truth, had I not walked down that path, had I not been on the path I was on, had I not walked down that path that I did, it's highly likely that I would not be here, sitting here in front of you tonight on your screen, telling you about my journey and hopefully inspiring yours. You see, nothing is wasted when it's put in God's hands. Nothing is wasted. When you go through tragedy, when you go through, pain, when you go through issues that you have to work through, when you go through places where it looks like nothing is ever going to be good again, none of that is wasted when it can be turned around and used to help someone else. And that's exactly what I do. So, I take all of my struggles and the lessons that I learned, sometimes the very hard way. I'm actually kind of a hard-headed person, so I've learned a lot of lessons the hard way. Stubborn, I believe, is what my mother called me when I was a child. But, I've been able to take that and package that into a pathway for other people so that you can get to that outcome without having to go through all of the same struggles. Kind of eliminate some of the struggle points for you. And, we all walk different paths. We all have different purposes, unique purposes, but we are all here for a reason. If there wasn't a reason for you to be here, if there wasn't a reason for me to be here, we wouldn't. Some of us just take longer than others to find our reason, but part of mine is to help you find yours. So, and it took me a while to figure that out. I mean, full transparency, and you guys know how much I love transparency. Full transparency, it took me a while to figure that out. And that's okay, because like I said, I had to go through the journey that I went through in order for me to be able to turn around and be impactful and help others along that same path. So I will ask you again. Actually, I don't want to ask you anything yet. I want to I want to talk about the fact that I am here to help you see what procrastinating, the reason I wanted to talk about this tonight, I want you to see what procrastinating on your self-discovery journey is costing you. By sharing my story and explaining to you what it cost me years of being unfulfilled and unhappy in a way that didn't have anything to do with what was happening in my life. It wasn't an unhappy because of my external circumstances. It was an unhappy because I did not know me. That's where that unhappiness was. Oh, hey, Andrea, how are you, honey? Oh, a dreamer, creator, educator. a supporter of the unsupported, and I use all that you bring to joy, all that to bring joy and out of others. I love that. I love that. Yes. Yes, exactly. So what is procrastinating on your self-discovery journey costing you? What is it costing you to not be who you are? What is that cost? It's high. Let me tell you what, the price is high. I can only say that now that I'm on the other side of this, but that's the exact reason why I am here to turn around and help those who need to come down that path as well. Because I know how much it cost, to help you shift your focus away from investing in your problem so that you can start investing in your solution, to help you be the very best that you can be. That's what I'm here for. That's what I love to do, is help other people be the very best them that they can be. We shine our lights. You don't have to snuff somebody else's light out to make yours shine brighter. If you actually shine alongside them, the two lights together are much brighter than one would ever be alone. So just keep that in mind. But I am here to support you on the journey to becoming the person that God created you to be. That's why I'm here. That's why I had to go through all of the ridiculous things that I've gone through in my life so that I can then turn around and help others. So I will ask you again before I wrap up. Now I am going to ask you something. What is the cost of allowing others to define you? And more importantly, are you willing to keep paying it? That's the big one. I was no longer willing to keep paying it. The pain of staying the same and allowing other people to define who I was, not having a voice, not being able to stand up and say, this is who I am. That is the price that I was no longer willing to pay. The pain of staying the same became greater than the pain of change. Now, so if you are ready, if you're in that same place where the pain of staying the same is now greater than the pain of changing and growing and discovering who you really are, if you're ready to get to know the real you, if you're ready to find out who you are apart from all those roles, apart from all of the roles that you play within your life, then I want you to connect with me after this live. I've got my the link down here scrolling on the bottom for my strategy session. You can go to bit.ly/see-me30 and schedule some time for us to talk about how I can support you in your next steps. It's a complimentary call. It doesn't cost you a thing. It costs 30 minutes of your time. And those 30 minutes, quite honestly, ladies and gentlemen, could put you on the path to real transformation in your life. And I also want to encourage you, if you have not already, I want to encourage you to go ahead and sign up for my email list. I've got the link right here and I will drop it down in the comments also. But I am launching a 90-day self-discovery course just in the next couple of weeks. It's coming up soon. I am very excited about it. I'm getting ready to blow up everything with this. So, but I want you to go ahead and sign up on my email list because I have a special offer for this course for those people who are on my list. So the list gets all the good stuff, right? And details and information and announcements about the different things that are coming up before I share them here on social media. So I want you to go ahead and sign up for that. There will be more information coming about the registration and how you can get into this 90-day course that I am launching. It is a self-discovery course. I'm so excited because the timing is just perfect. You will be stepping into the new year as the real you. So I cannot wait. I am so stinking excited about this course. It's a lot of hard work that's gone into it because I believe you are worth it. So I want to see you win. You know that I want to win and I want to take you with me. I want to see you win too. So with that, I will close. Again, you've got the link down there at the bottom for a strategy session with me. You've got the link right here and I'll drop it down in the comments to get on my email list. Really, really, if you take nothing else away from tonight, I want you to ask yourself the question on whether or not You are allowing others to define you. And if that answer is yes, one, there's no shame in that. There's a whole ton of people walking around this planet who allow other people to define them. If the answer to that is yes, I want you to ask yourself what it's costing you. And when you're done paying that price, when you're finished with, when you've had enough and you've decided that you don't want to pay that price anymore, I want you to get on my calendar and give me a call. Send me a message. Let's get you past that place. Let's find who you are so that you can share that with the world, so that you can be the best version of you, and so that you can find the happiness and the fulfillment that I know comes from discovering who you are. So with that, I hope that you all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. For my friends over on YouTube, thank you so much for joining. For my friends on Facebook, thank you for being here. Again, share this video out, start a watch party, tag a friend, and I will see you all next time. My name is Crystal Fry, and I'm your personal identity coach and transformational communication strategist. Have a great night.